A Houston City Council member is shedding light on the city's recent expansion to its civility ordinance. There is now that 24/7 ban on sitting, lying, or storing belongings on sidewalks in both downtown and east downtown.
Joining us now to explore this topic further is District 1 Houston City Council member Joaquin Martinez. Councilmember Martinez, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Why did you vote in favor of this, and how do you anticipate that the expanded ordinance will directly impact your district?
Yeah, first, I just want to say thank you for bringing shedding some light on this conversations a bit more. So prior to being in office, I was a staffer out of the district office for about 10 years. And so we have seen over the past almost a little bit over a decade, since 2011, when the Parker administration was in, the housing first model have a lot of success. What we have found more recently is that we are now challenged with hardest to house, and so those hardest to house individuals are now fall into a space of mental health challenges, substance abuse. And so what I had shared around the horseshoe yesterday was there's a different iteration of what we're trying to get done now. This is an opportunity to be able to provide a space for folks to be able to live or transition housing, as we provide wraparound services, meals, and quite frankly, in my experience, I've been a part of the point in time count, the pit count every year. And when you have conversations, as was highlighted just recently, you start hearing some real stories from those that are unhoused, and it is how do you start filling those gaps? Some of the ways that we feel now moving forward, as we continue to still see housing first model be successful, is how do we now address the challenge of folks that are living in the inclement weather. Unfortunately, during the freeze, I had two unhoused individuals, constituents that passed away because they didn't take heed the caution of go to a warming center. And so now we're at a point where we know we can provide somewhere where they can stay. We also have a space where they can save their belongings as well, because we are wanting to do this as compassionately as possible. But we also need to make sure that we're providing real services now. And so the work that will be rolled out over the next coming months, it's something that we passed yesterday, but we're still at a point where we're doing work to firm up the location, which will be somewhere near to where they are familiar with. We'll provide about 240 beds. They will have breakfast, lunch, dinner. They will also have the nonprofit organizations, Coalition for the Homeless, that will provide services as well. So this is something that's being well thought out. It's not something that we just, I really want to push back on criminalizing homelessness. This is not the case. This is really working with folks that I've heard stories of where they need assistance or they want assistance, and so we're trying to fill the gaps in now.
And Councilmember, you touched on available resources. We did speak with Councilmember Abby Kamen this morning. She was one, as you know, of two dissenting votes yesterday on this, and she wishes the city would wait for more beds, more resources, more wraparound services to be in place for all districts to apply this ordinance instead of jumpstarting with just two areas of the city. Do you feel like this expansion is at all premature in any way?
I don't think it's premature. As I mentioned to you prior to being a council member, we would receive calls consistently in downtown and east downtown. And quite frankly, that's where a lot of our unhoused population is concentrated. Over I would say, post Harvey and then pandemic, we have seen, and I've been having this conversation with more of my, hearing it from more of my colleagues, that the unhoused community has been outside of the downtown and east downtown area, but that is really where it is concentrated. And so I think we shouldn't wait when we know that there's folks that are at Tranquility Park, which is, I can see from my office just across the street, had someone pass away, like I mentioned, this past freeze. We shouldn't be waiting. If we can help some of these individuals right now, 240 beds that are available, I think we should be acting now. I think any waiting is just essentially, it's not doing the job that we should be doing to really facilitate support for those unhoused communities.
Let's talk about the other component to this. For the first time, Houston police can now help connect homeless people to mental health resources. What will that look like?
So I would say that, and this is a conversation again that was had around the horseshoe. This is not the first time. I know that there was an amendment that was added to the ordinance, but this is not the first time. And I think it's important that folks understand the compassion that has been brought by our law enforcement, but then they're not the only ones going out there. We had a constituent, a doctor that is part of the outreach team that goes out. This is not a first-time interaction that is happening at all. These are interactions that are happening consistently. There's trust that needs to be built to eventually move folks from the streets into transition housing to hopefully some stable housing. And so the HPD specifically, when they're out there, they have this type of resource that has already been happening. As I mentioned earlier, the point in time count, it's every first month of the year that is led by the Coalition for the Homeless. We're out there with professionals that are able to help have these conversations, especially for those that, quite frankly, they'll even share with you they haven't been on their medication for some time. And so there is already training that is done. This is not a first time where folks will be able to have this type of resource. I think highlighting this conversation is important because I think community needs to be made aware, quite frankly, that we have been doing a good job since 2011, since the Parker administration. But again, we are at a point where we're now having to address some of our most vulnerable, most hardest to house because of other social challenges that they might be going through.
And Councilmember, last 60 seconds here with you. If you refuse to comply with police in this expanded ordinance, you don't move off the sidewalk for them, you are facing a $500 fine, which could spiral into something bigger if you don't pay that or if you miss a court date. Are you at all concerned about that aspect of this?
I'm not concerned. Yes, that is a tool that is able to be used, but I'm not concerned. There's homeless court that is also being run out of our municipal courts. That's last resort. At the end of the day, we want folks to be able to be stable enough to be able to help them make better decisions about whether you're on the streets during inclement weather. Quite frankly, a lot of these individuals are also victims as well, and so helping them find that pathway. Someone that worked at a nonprofit for a long time, you have to help community also move it in a way where they're educated and aware. And I think just for the larger Houston community, this is being done in a compassionate way. I can't say this enough. It is not criminalizing homelessness. Citation is a way to help enforce, but that is literally the last resort that we're moving towards.
So many layers to peel back with this complex issue. City Councilmember Joaquin Martinez, District I. We appreciate your perspective this afternoon. Thank you for joining us.